Hi, my name is Greg Dixon with Tell Your Story Productions. I'm here with Jerry Smith and Bonnie McDonald Dixon, and today we're going to talk about some of the importance and challenges of preserving family stories. And we had Bonnie mentioned earlier that with my own father, I never got a chance to capture his story because he died quite a long time ago. And to this day, I talk to my siblings and we piece bits and pieces of his story together, but it's still not very complete. We just don't have that opportunity. So we're going to talk about today when you do have the opportunity, if you have some living relatives or friends or cousins or spouses or whatever, now is the time to capture the stories because things go poof fast and things change fast. And anyway, we're going to talk about a couple of different ways of doing this and a couple of things that were easy and some things that weren't so easy with some suggestions for you. So I think we'll start with Jerry. Okay.
Yes. Now, at this round, we're going to try to keep this simple because if you're just beginning this, you can easily become intimidated. I mean, we're here to do the technical stuff, but for a DIY do it yourself, keep it simple. And the simplest way to approach an interview whether they live in your house or whether they live across the globe is audio only. And that's not bad. Typically, there's photos of people that you can add to the audios later, but the story really is what make those photographs come alive. So let's say you might have 20 photos, and maybe when you get a chance to see them again, you'll work out how to get the other 20 or 30 that are there. But you want to get a story now, and maybe you won't see them in person. So let's talk about that. So surprisingly, one of the easiest and really high quality ways to get an interview is over the phone. I mean, even if they live in town, one of the benefits of that is that many people are camera shy. And Bonnie's going to tell us a story about her father, even when she was trying to get some good stories out of him. But let's say they are far away, and you don't have the option to be one on one with them. So what you can do is and see what kind of phone they have, and they may have a landline. A lot of older people keep their landline; they don't want a mobile phone. Even if they have a mobile phone, it may be ideal for them to use the landline because it's usually has a higher fidelity, less interference, less noise, and less whistles and buzzers. So suffice it to say, if you're going to have a telephone interview, turn off all of the audio items in your phone that could interrupt you. There's usually not a sleep mode, but a do not disturb mode on whether it's an Android or whether it's an iPhone product. You could also do this on a tablet. I think you'll probably get better fidelity doing it on a phone because those devices are meant to have a better than average microphones. Okay, so you're on the phone. Now, how are you going to record that? There are some sophisticated things to record it. You could, let's say they're on the landline and you're on the mobile phone. You could press the speaker mode and have some kind of recorder, maybe from another mobile phone to do it. That's going to sound so. So better than nothing, but not really a good choice. There is a good choice that I have used, and that is and there's no doubt more than one of these apps. This is an iPhone app, and it's called Tape a Call, all one word. Tape a Call. It's primarily for business, so people can record the conversation to know what they said. They agreed to pay $1 million. What, I don't remember. Oh yeah, I did agree to that. All those types of things. So Tape a Call. Now it's a little different. It's a bit of an investment in the sense of you can. I think they have a trial on this. I'm not absolutely positive, but you can get unlimited recording and high fidelity recording for like about $20 a year. It's an annual thing, and if you don't want it, make sure you make a note on your calendar somewhere to cancel the service because it's kind of an auto they do give you actually a flag that they're going to be updating it. It's really a good service because when you go in there, you'll have lots of um, recordings that are all labeled, the date, the time, and you can label them. You can type over the title of that recording so that it is specific to that conversation, because oh, it was this one here. As soon as the conversation is done, they mentioned about being an international spy. I want to remember that. Right. Okay, good. So that's one way to do it, and it's worth the $20. And if you get your project done in a year, which may take that long, maybe you have 12 calls in 12 months, and that may be what it is. And it's not limited. You could talk an hour or two per call, and it's very stable. Just if you're going to do that with a mobile phone on your end, which you would have to, make sure you have it plugged in or a full battery charge or so forth. If you need to hang up to the call to resume, you can do that, and you'll have it. But the point is, you'll have these great recordings. Then you can send them somewhere to your computer or to somebody like us who can add them to photos or part of a story and so forth. But if you don't have it, you can't do anything with it. So that's one of the suggestions I make. And before I talk about other simple audio interfaces, I want Bonnie to tell us a story or two about her attempts to get stories from her father.
So my father, we're blessed to have many, many pictures, but I wanted to hear his stories. We like to call them Samisms, all my siblings and I. And Jerry set me up with a lovely microphone and tripod that fit right on the table. I was so excited to record my mother and father. So this has been quite a while ago, 2010-ish. And what happened is it was intimidating to my father and my mother. But my father, he would put his hands on his legs and rock, and he was so anxious and so nervous. It didn't turn out so good. But in later years, we have found, and he is in his 90s now, that we are able to easily record him on Zoom with his stories. But I have another funny story, Jerry. So while I'm recording him, I noticed that the screen was about up to his chin, and I said, "Well,
Oh, gosh.
Daddy, maybe you should sit up or sit on some pillows or something." And so my brother showed up to his house and said, why are you sitting on all these pillows? And he said, well, because Bonnie wants me to sit on the pillows so she can see me in the screen. Come to find out, all he had to do, and this is a tip for everyone, pull your screen forward at the top, and it will, voila, you can see your whole face that way. So those are a couple funny stories about recording. One is, if someone's anxious or nervous, meet them where they're at. I didn't know what to do at the time for my father, but now I'd probably just start having a conversation and ease into putting the recording up. Two, sometimes people learn along the way, and you can teach them, if they're open to using new tools and technologies, as Jerry was sharing, the phone, Zoom, and something like what we're doing is StreamYard. So it can be very fun, especially, this is the other thing, to practice and let them know that you really want their stories and you don't want them to be forgotten. It's wonderful if you have photos. It's even just as wonderful to hear a voice. I still miss my mother's voice, and I didn't get much recording of her, but I do. It is something wonderful to hear someone's voice. So, Jerry, do you have any other tips for getting started with
Yes.
the audio?
And that was really practical suggestions there. I have to, when interview, I was doing a business interview, an older gentleman, founder of a published magazine, business magazine, but nobody was really supporting him. They just kind of like threw him in front of his own laptop. And you mentioned about cutting off. He was like this. So the whole interview. I finally said, can you get that man to come back so he could raise the screen up? And so half of it was normal. So yeah, if definitely they need tech support on their end. Otherwise, it probably, unless they're an old hand at it. Okay, here's another good tip for apps. If let's say they say, well, I don't really necessarily want to share everything, and I get nervous when on demand somebody asks me something because my memory is not as good as it used to be. There is a whole backstory actually to what I'm going to recommend, and it is an app called Record Me Now. Record Me Now, and it is designed for people to record their own thoughts and feelings and memories and history. And that might be a good starting point for some persons. And then there's a sharing part of it so they can share it. And what it says in the introduction, it says, this app lets you record an emotional legacy for your loved ones. I believe it's an audio recording or textual. An emotional legacy for your loved ones. The questions have been selected from 5 years of research into what people whose parents died when young wish that they had known. So that's another tool that you can use, and even if they don't want to share it, that'll record something for it. And you want to make sure that when you see them that it's actually getting recorded and not just being misunderstood and not happening. All right. So what if you're with your loved one that you want to do something with? Maybe you want to have an audio recording, but maybe you have a great phone probably in your mobile. So how are you going to do this? Well, number one is that most mobile phones don't have very good recording capability off of the microphone. So two things that you can get, and I'll show you both, is they're like $20, $25. These are clips with small mics, and they're called, there we go, slips with small mics, and these are called lav, or the full name is lavalier mics. Sometimes they call them, you clip it on a lapel mic. But the idea here is that you need usually a special mic plug-in and at the end. Now, so this one it has 3 bands instead of the normal 2. That's what mobile phones like. 3 of those black bands. And if you look at it on Amazon, you'll see the description. And then the good old Apple has this special lightning slot here for its microphones. You can get microphones like that. Then you set it and forget it. You can plug it in to the person right there, and you have a long enough cord. You don't want them walking away though. Make sure that you stop. I'll unplug it while they go to the bathroom and so forth. So that'll give you good sound with mobile phones. And the trick is, how are you going to put it up? Whether it's one person or 2, you may want both of you in the view. So how are you going to hold it? You need something to hold it. Well, I'll use my phone as a dummy. These phone holders are very good, especially if you get my favorite brand, which is called Square Jellyfish. Real solid spring. You don't want it falling. And that will plug in, as you can see, to a quarter 20, which is standard for lots of devices, like right here. This is a little tripod, and Amazon's loaded with these things. Some are better than others, and we can write our recommendations. So the point is, you have something firm to hold your phone, and let's see. It would be, you're going to be viewing it. Let's say you just want to record them, your subject, and you're just going to talk over. You just want about them, and I would recommend that. This holds it really firmly, and you just nicely tighten it. Some of these tripods go out to adjust depending on what situation you're in, and they have a sturdy legs that compress and collapse. So this is how you can do it. There's plenty of apps to choose from. There's a camera app. If you're going to follow around your dad or mom into their garage or craft cottage or whatever, then you want to get something. You can't really. You could hold this, but it's not going to necessarily keep it straight. You don't want a wobbly, kind of video. There's a program, and I'm pretty sure it's in both Android and iPhone at the App Store. It's called Horizontal. and it's not complicated, but it will automatically keep, no matter if you bend the phone, it will keep it straight. So it's kind of idiot proof. So those are some more examples that aren't hard, not expensive, but can really work well in getting those stories.
Oh, that's fabulous, Jerry and Bonnie. That's really good. I just want to add another thing to this. Here is, in some ways, we have this technology. We're using StreamYard to broadcast this, and we're using Zoom, and that gives a lot more option to capture a number of stories. Like we can have a conversation. We can now facilitate somebody in Georgia having a conversation with one of their relatives in New York or something, and we can record it and edit that and create a production out of it. So we have a lot more options now than we did. And I also want to bring up too with the recording is we have some good things with Bonnie's dad, and it was a challenge the first time. But I did one with my former mother-in-law, and she was just not capable. She was not capable of telling her whole story, but she created a memoir. So her daughter did what Jerry had described, read the memoir into a phone and recorded it. Also had another recording device, and then we put that together with the photos to tell the story, and also with the text of the memoir. I just wanted to add that.
Well, those are excellent suggestions, and we hope that people don't wait, because if somebody's gone, then you got to do the archaeological dig. Maybe you'll find something, maybe you won't. And
Yeah.
sometimes this is an uncomfortable subject. Why are you doing this? I'm not going to die. Well, that's certainly our intention to make, but we want the stories here because this is where you ease in. Older we get, the more our memories can be harder to recall. Which is a euphemism for dementia is a real thing, and nobody really knows if they're going to have dementia and not remember those great stories. And so you want to pass them on while you're fully capable of doing so. I mean, I'm 67 and I have a harder time to remember things on demand than I did when I was 27. Okay. This is reality. So ease into that subject that, your stories are so important that we want to get them while you can recall the most detail.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Bonnie, you have a comment there?
Just that having someone's story can bring such joy to not only yourself, to them, and also to the family members in reminiscing. Greg and I did a story about someone's birthday, a marker of time. But where it came in wonderfully was a year later when she did pass away. And we were able to take that wonderful birthday celebration, stories, and photos, and turn it into a wonderful memorial for this friend of ours. And her daughter and her husband were smart enough, and herself, to get that in the can and just to celebrate the marker of time, her birthday, and then later to use it. We added even more for her memorial. So it's something to think about, that we don't have to do it just at the end of our life. We can do it in different parts of our lives, and it can all merge and blend together. And one of our friends just did a part of their story, which was a musical story. So it's really fun. Get started now. Don't wait. If you need help, we're there for you to help guide you and walk you through the process and facilitate a wonderful tell your story production for you, your family members, or business.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. So I'm just going to show this. We have a website with a number of offers here that's in the chat at tellyourstory.productions. And specifically, the theme of our thing today was get started. So preserving your family legacy starts with a single story. So there's if you can adopt some of the items, some of the advice we've given here. You can try doing it on your own. If you want to just phone and chat with us, and we can give you some advice about how to go do it. We offer a number of programs to help with it, and in the line of announcing something like we're going to open the gates to East Berlin on the air is for various reasons. We've talked about creating a course on how to do this kind of thing, and I think it's becoming more urgent that we have to go through with a course, because with lots of the advice that Jerry gave and Bonnie gave, and I have some tips. We've been collecting these for a while, so we'll try to put that into a coherent course for you to study if you want to do it on your own. And if you want to have us look after all the details, and we'll facilitate it and edit it and put it all together, we're available to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So any last words?
Thank you for taking the time to learn about telling your story.
Yeah.
And put it on the calendar for you to do. Even if you can't do it now, can't do it this month, put it on your calendar. It's too important not to.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It could be a wonderful gift for this the holiday season for someone.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, we're going to be back. We're going to come back probably every Saturday to do a broadcast like this, and we hope to see you then. Thank you.